What's going on, guys? Greek Freak here, and in this video I have a special video that I've been sort of just thinking about, and the main thing that I'm going to be talking about are the Pelicans and whether or not they tried to bait the Lakers into sort of setting them up for failure for the rest of the season. Now, as we all know, Anthony Davis requested a trade, and for many reports we heard the fact that the Pelicans were not really going to be listening to offers unless they got wooed as far as the actual offers. But not only that, they actually gave suggestions of what they wanted for a trade. Now, the reason why I say the fact that they try to bait them and try to set them up for this is the fact of what they were really looking for. What they were looking for was not just all three of their great young players that we would expect, but also 4 future first-round draft picks, and also taking bad contracts that would have prevented the Lakers from being able to attend anything into the next offseason as far as adding additional superstar players. Now, I think the fact that we obviously heard the fact that they were closing in, getting better deals and all that, and they were hearing that they wanted 2 draft picks. But isn't it just strange that they decided to change that to 4 draft picks and take bad contracts? I think the fact that the Pelicans knew the fact they didn't want to make an offer or a deal, so what they did was they tried to stir up drama as far as with these young players. Now, of course, we know the fact that Lonzo Ball ended up having a situation where he said, if I want to be traded, I want to be traded to either the Phoenix Suns, the Chicago Bulls, or the New York Knicks, so he can have a starting position role on a team. But as far as that, we know the fact that this caused more tension than not. We saw the fact that they had one of their biggest losses of LeBron James's career against the Indiana Pacers. We saw very many people talking about these players as in trade rumors almost daily. We even saw the fact that LeBron tweeted out during the Super Bowl, where's Woj, where's all these people at that break big news as far as trade rumors, which basically would insinuate the fact that he wanted them to be traded and them to be gone. So it's going to make it very just awkward as far as trying to win a game and trying to keep on going because of the fact that they try to deal them for Anthony Davis. Now, granted, we all know the fact that in a situation that, yes, many people would be willing to trade away players for a player such as Anthony Davis, but you have to think about these individual players and what this will do to them, especially these younger players that haven't really even shown consistency during just stable moments. So whenever we're seeing a situation where they're hitting this turbulence and all this throughout the season, we're seeing the fact that the Lakers are very much falling out as far as how things are going. We see them right now currently in the 10th spot in the Western Conference. Now, granted, I believe the fact that the Clippers will be falling out of the playoff race due to the trades that they made and the incentive that they want to have their own draft pick, which requires them to not make the playoffs. But I think the fact that this still leads other teams in there trying to fight for those positions as well. And this is still going to be a challenge for the Lakers to make the playoffs, which is very strange to think, especially considering what the expectations were going into this season. So, as far as this, I think the fact that the Pelicans were trying to give away offers that they knew the Lakers were not going to offer and create drama as far as the surrounding inside of the Laker locker room. We're seeing the fact that these players are sort of handling it differently. I think the fact that some of the younger players are handling the trade rumors very well and things such as that. But not only this, I'm starting to wonder, will the Pelicans even consider the Lakers in trade rumors when we talk about this? Because the one thing is, we know the fact that they didn't. I already reported the fact that I didn't think that they were going to trade them during this time and that they weren't even going to be taking serious deals. And to see the fact that they put up the offer of what they wanted from the Lakers proved the fact that they didn't really want a real deal with them. So I think the fact that this can come back on the Pelicans, depending if the Kyrie Irving leaves the Celtics and they end up losing very early into the season, and if the New York Knicks don't end up getting a good draft pick or nobody else really tries to make an offer. But as far as this, I think the fact that they're really hoping the fact that they don't trade him to the Los Angeles Lakers. We've been hearing, like I reported as well, that many of these teams, the small market teams, are telling them not to bend to this. and sort of have the same approach that the Spurs did with Kawhi Leonard and sending him off somewhere else, especially considering the fact of what's really happening here. Now, we also heard the fact that if the Pelicans sit Anthony Davis, the fact that they will be fined $100,000 for every single game that he does not play. So we know the fact that they're going to play him for the rest of the regular season. They may try to limit his minutes as far as to prevent injuries and things, but I'm not directly sure about how they want to do these types of things. Obviously, the Pelicans don't really want to try to win a whole bunch of games. They want to have as best a draft pick themselves as physically possible for their actual team, along with probably future draft picks from other teams as well once they trade Anthony Davis this offseason. But I think the fact that we really have to sit here and think about this, I think the fact that the Pelicans are not going to try to trade Anthony Davis to the Lakers. They're going to try to find, like I said, a deal with the New York Knicks or with teams like the Celtics, depending on what they can offer and what happens to them during the season. Now, as far as the Lakers, I'm not sure whether or not they would go to a point to give away Anthony Davis for almost nothing to another team if something goes downhill. But I think the fact that in many considerations, I think they'd be willing to take a worse deal with one of the New York Knicks or the Celtics just so he doesn't go to the Los Angeles Lakers. I think the fact that this team is going to take Anthony Davis's trade request sort of personally, and in many cases of this, we know the fact that there's drama as far as this team is going with the New Orleans Pelicans, with many rumors even stating the fact that they may end up moving the team in the next few years due to the owner passing away and the dysfunction of how they want to split the team within the family. So as far as that to be concerned, I think the fact that this is a story that I haven't really heard from anybody, but I really wanted to know what other people thought about this and whether or not this could be a possibility, as far as the fact that the Pelicans may be trying not to make a deal just so they can end up hurting the Los Angeles Lakers, sort of as payback that Anthony Davis wants to go to the Lakers. I think the fact that small market teams really don't like the fact that these large market teams have players and superstar caliber players that want to go play there off of basically nothing as far as an extra incentive, where it seems like many of these, since the salary cap has exploded, the fact that these small market teams still yet cannot even hold many of their superstar caliber players, especially the American superstar players, to stay in their team even for an extra incentive of millions of dollars, especially considering the fact that Anthony Davis stayed through this contract. He could get paid and be for the first $300 million player from contract, which means the fact that he would lose out on $100 million for signing anywhere else. So as far as that, I just think the fact that this is a theory that I just sort of came up with and thought the fact, and just was wondering what your guys' thoughts are. Do you think the fact that the Pelicans set up the Los Angeles Lakers to have this dysfunction towards the end of their playoff run? Or do you think the fact that it's just coincidence? They really thought the fact that the Lakers would try to take a deal like they offered? But guys, tell me what your guys' thoughts are. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you leave a like and subscribe to Power of the Greek Army today. And as always, this is Sparta.